And I had a little bit of a moment where I thought, blimey, have I been doing this for this long? I should have done that way in the first place. But look, every day is a school day, eh? We made a decision part of the way through last year, around September time, that we were going to create more semi-permanent looking kiosk style concessions, but with marquees behind them. So fascias essentially. Now, we've always done fascias, but it was very obvious it was marquees behind, and I think it looked good, but I think it could have looked better. When I've put this to especially my larger clients, they are really keen to see this. Obviously, we've always been banner based, so our signage has always been banners, and they weren't really good from the perspective of they're light and they're easy to roll up. But the amount of workload that we now have, up and down too much, they get damaged really easily. You know, they tend to stretch, they start to sag, they don't look as great. So for me, the aesthetics of it need to be better. Outside of that, the system works really well. There aren't too many flaws really. Apart from, I think it could look a lot better. Everything else around it is very, very high level and streamlined. The food is fantastic, the team are great, our logistics, our operational planning, my team's in the office, everything is right up there. And then when we get there, I look at it and think, I'm not happy with that. I think that could look better. So that's where we're at now, and that's our main aim now, is just to get this looking really good. So obviously you can see behind us, it's really basic construction. So we have got timber counters. Those are solid timber counters, and they form part of ballast to hold that marquee down. They're pretty heavy. There's a couple of timber poles that are fixed onto the marquees. These have to be ballast from the back very firmly to make sure they don't tip in the wind with all the weight on the front. And then what we're going to be doing is, currently we would have had a banner on there, a menu that hangs down, and then we'd have dressed it with all of our florals and everything else. What we're going to do with this now is we're going to actually create timber fascias with timber sides. It creates almost like a large chalet or a kiosk. With the poles, what we used to do is we would have them on the side here, and the idea of having them on the side is that the banners were measured, that when you put these on the side and the pole on the side, that side, the distance between that was just a little bit short on the banners, so that by the time you pulled them tight on a carabiner hook and clipped them in, it kept them lovely and flush. And by the time we put the menus on the bottom, the weight of those menus would pull the bottoms flush, so they would look lovely. And it worked okay. But in the wind, when the wind blew forward, it used to try and pull the poles round to the front, working like a sail. I've decided to do it this way with the wooden fascias, where I've moved the pole to the front, fixed it between the counter and the pole, and by doing it that way, it's very, very strong. And I had a little bit of a moment where I thought, blimey, have I been doing this for this long? And something as obvious as that has made this much more secure. What I could have just done is put them on the front and made the banner shorter, which would have made a lot more sense. Obviously, with us being very, very busy, it's something we just haven't really looked at. But now I've took a bit of time on my own up here while my staff are resting. I realised this, I thought, well, I should have done that way in the first place, but look, every day is a school day, eh?